There we go. Okay, you couldn't pick up my audio for a second. Let's start playing the music. Oh, we've already got people on the stream. Let me pull open. Okay. Hello, Brixit. Hello, Misery. Welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing today? Hydrate or dihydrate, everybody. You're getting to info dump to your friend about your boxes. And Smithy has just released creatures. Oh, well, I'm glad that you're doing decent. Doing decent is always better than doing bad. So I'm happy to hear that, Misery. Congratulations on making progress on beating Terraria. My brain does not understand Terraria for some reason. I really struggle with that game. All right, how's the music level? We love wikis. I'll give people a couple more minutes before we launch the stream fully. Probably wait till either like 10:07 or 10:10. Let's love the wiki, but I have a random memory burned into my brain with it, which I won't share. Good wiki. TF wiki? Is that Transformers wiki? Okay. I feel like getting started. So, this stream is going to be a bit different from our previous streams. However, this project is kind of something that I've wanted to do for a while. It's actually kind of one of the things that led to me wanting to do content creation because I thought this would be really funny. But anyway, I have been approached by this guy named Mr. E, and he has a problem. He needs a wife. So what we're going to do for Mr. E is we're going to go through the D&D 5e monster manual, and we're going to rank all of the monsters according to their wife ability. That's the nice fantasy music we've got going today. Move me out of the way for a second just so we can... Oh, it's locked. Okay, that's why I wasn't able to grab it. Once again, put chat right over my horns. So here's how this is going to work. We do have some rules. Creatures must have, I believe I decided an intelligence of 5. Actually, let me double check. At what level can creatures, animals talk in D&D? Let's double check this real quick. Oh, that was supposed to be E. Intelligence, right? Oh, this is not what I thought it was. So, I have no idea how this is gonna go. I just saw that meme forever ago where someone called the monster manual the waifu manual. And I was like, wouldn't that be funny? So hopefully this will be a fun stream. And we'll see how it goes. And I'm really hoping that the music description leads us true and that none of these actually do have any copyright things. One way to find out. So. turn down the music so I can focus a little better. Plug in my computer. Battery. There we go. All right, chat. Let's go ahead and help out Mr. E. So the first thing we'll do is we'll look at the creature stat block to see what its stats are, because we're not doing more animal creatures. That's just weird. Everything must have some sentience. Okay. And get some water, and then we'll start. Okay. Aarakocra. They have a intelligence that, they're humanoids, so they have good stats. Aarakocra range the Howling Gyre, an endless storm of mighty winds and lashing rains that surrounds the tranquil realms of Aka in the elemental plane of air. Making aerial patrols, these bird-like humanoids guard the windy borders of their home against invaders from the elemental plane of earth, such as gargoyles, their sworn enemies. They are enemies of elemental evil. In service to the Wind Dukes of Aka, Aarakocra scout the plains in search of temples of elemental evil. They spy on malign elemental creatures and then either take the fight to those creatures, or report back to the Wind Dukes. On the material plane, Aarakocra create areas atop the highest mountains, especially peaks near portals to the elemental plane of air. From such heights, Aarakocra watch for signs of elemental incursions, as well as nascent threats to their home plane. Aarakocra prefer to live their lives like the wind, unburdened and ever moving. Yet they watch over a region for years, if that's what it takes to guard against the incursions of elemental evil. Aarakocra have no concept of political borders or property ownership, and the value of gems, gold, and other precious materials means little to Aarakocra. In their eyes, a creature should use what is necessary and then cast what is left on the wind for others to use. Search for the seven shards. The Wind Dukes of Aka come from a race of elemental beings called the Vati, which once ruled many worlds. A creature known as the Queen of Chaos arose and initiated an interplanar war against Vati rule. To combat the threat, seven Vati heroes combined their power to create the mighty Rod of Law. In a battle against the Queen's greatest general, Mishka the Wolf Spider, Vati killed Mishka by thrusting the rod into him like a spear. The rod shattered into seven shards that scattered across the multiverse. Aarakocra seeks signs of the pieces' locations in order to rebuild what is now known as the Rod of Seven Parts. Okay. So we now hop over to our tier list. The idea is that we'll make a tier list, and then once we're done going through the monster manual and the other monster book that I'm totally drawing a blank on, we will go ahead and take all of the S tier and we'll make a bracket system. I should name the tiers. How's that? Off topic, but have you seen a blunt-head slug snake? No, but we're about to. Everybody, warning, we're about to see a blunt-head slug snake. Oh yes, I have seen. It's doing its best. Doing its best. It looks traumatized. Look at that one image. Which one image? This one? It does look like a chewed up hoodie lace. What a funky guy. I like this image. I'm gonna wake up from a 14-hour nap. More illnesses than I have fingers. Be nice! He only eats slugs. That makes sense. He's doing his best. Which might not be very great, but it's his best. That's hysterical. Love him. Okay. How to spell Aarakocra. Aarakocra. Only thing he can fit in his mouth. I am thinking... We were wrong, Brixit. That's not how to spell it. Okay. Okay. It says that they're kind of flighty, which makes sense. But also it doesn't, because they're birds, and many birds are quite monogamous, and many birds aren't. I agree, it should be spelled Aarakocra. Because they're cocks. Like the bird. Yes. So, Flame Point. What we're doing is we are trying to find a guy named Mr. E. We're trying to find him a wife from the monster manual. So we're going to rank all of the monsters with an intelligence of 5 or higher, with potentially the exception of the sentient cube. I really want to put the sentient... we're going to just pretend that it's sentient. If it's stats, don't say it's sentient. Gelatinous cube, because I think it's fine. So we might make a couple exceptions. But, like, we're not putting animals on here, because that's weird. So, we're gonna do this, and then all of the ones that land in wife material, we are going to put in a bracket system and rate. That's what I was thinking. I think Aarakocra would be a really good friend. But what was the one line? Aarakocra prefer to live their lives like the wind, unburdened, ever moving. Yeah, we're talking about that cube. Yeah, since they like to be unburdened and ever moving, emphasis on the ever moving, I'm thinking Aarakocra go in the friend material. They're just to kind of come and go. Yeah, potentially commitment issues. Except maybe with other Aarakocra that will live this lifestyle, but we don't have many details about Mr. E. So, we're doing what we can for him. Aboleth. Okay, it's got the intelligence we need. Intelligence of 18. This thing is smart. Isn't she pretty? Look at her. She's so pretty. Last resort. I don't know. Last resort. As I said, we don't necessarily know what he's into, so we gotta we're going off of kind of lamprey with eyes, yeah. We're gonna go off of the descriptions, how much we think it would be a good partner to somebody. Okay. Could it be that aboleths are older than the gods? That before the divine ones came to be, such horrors shaped the multiverse? Now there's a chilling thought. Do we need to schedule an intervention? We might need to schedule an intervention for him. I think your description was like me. So yeah, it's probably gonna go wind up in the haha no. But it might be funny to make it the last resort. Okay. Before the coming of the gods, aboleths lurked in primordial oceans and underground lakes. They reached out with their minds and seized control of the burgeoning life forms of the mortal realm, making those creatures their slaves. Okay, yeah, so it is Dommy. Their dominance made them like gods. Then the true gods appeared, smashing the aboleth's empire and freeing their slaves. Aboleths have never forgotten. Okay. So she remembers everything. Eternal memories. See? She remembers everything. That is a very wife-like trait. Wives remember everything. Unless you're into mind control, it goes into haha no. Aboleths have flawless memories. They pass on their knowledge and experience from generation to generation. Thus, the injury of their defeat by the gods remains perfectly preserved in their minds. Aboleth's minds are treasure troves of ancient lore, recalling memories from prehistory with perfect clarity. They plot patiently and intricately across eons. Few creatures can conceive of the extent of the aboleth's plan. I'm gonna start planning an intervention for Brixit. Shirling remembers everything, just like my old ball and chain. Brixit, are you okay? Gods in the lake. Aboleths dwell in watery environments, including ocean abysses, deep lakes, and the elemental plane of water. In these domains and the lands that adjoin them, aboleths are like gods, demanding worship and obedience from their subjects. I never said you wanted an aboleth wife. When they consume other creatures, aboleths add the knowledge and experience of their prey to their eternal memories. Oh. Okay, that would actually be really cool if, like, an aboleth ate an important NPC that had, like, critical knowledge, so you had to somehow make a deal with these guys. With one of them. Because it ate the NPC. That could be fun. Aboleths use their telepathic knowledge to read the minds of creatures and know their desires. An aboleth uses this knowledge to gain a creature's loyalty, promising to fill such wants in exchange for obedience. Within its lair, the aboleth can further use its powers to override senses, granting creatures, such as its followers, the illusion of promised rewards. Enemies of the gods. The aboleth's fall from power is written in stark clarity on their flawless memories, for aboleths never truly die. If an aboleth's body is destroyed, its spirit returns to the elemental plane of water, where a new body coalesces for it over days or months. Ultimately, aboleths dream of overthrowing the gods and regaining control of the world. Aboleths have had untold eons to plot and prepare their plans for a perfect execution. What level is this guy? 10. Also, I didn't mention it, but Misery pointed out that Jawless fish are super old, so older than the gods. Yeah, that is a fun point. And Aboleth's lair. I think, is this just lair actions? Not much more about... Okay. It can create a copy of itself. Aboleth. Never expected to find a perfect creature for your Eldritch campaign here. Yep. Slimy and wet region. Okay, Aboleth. Well, I certainly think it could be a wife. But I don't know... I don't know much more about that. Aboleth makes the water gross. Yeah. Yeah, we're on anyflip.com. Okay, do we want to put Aboleth as last resort or haha no? Would it be a good wife? Probably not. Slam dunk for haha no? Yeah, maybe we should preserve Mr. E and keep him safe from the Aboleth. Aboleth makes you slimy. Some people are into that. We don't know what he's into. Angels! Okay. Angels. An angel is a celestial agent sent forth into the planes to further its god's agendas for weal or woe. Its sublime beauty and presence can drive awestruck onlookers to their knees. Yet angels are destroyers too, and their appearance portends doom as often as it signals hope. Shards of the Divine. Angels are formed from the astral essence of benevolent gods and are thus divine beings of great power and foresight. Angels act out of the will of their gods with tireless devotion. Even chaotic good deities demand lawful good angels. Knowing that the angel's dedication to order best allows them to fulfill divine commands. An angel follows a single driving purpose, as decreed by its deity. However, an angel is incapable of following commands that stray from the path of law and good. An angel slays evil creatures without remorse. As the embodiment of law and good, an angel is almost never mistaken in its judgments. This quality can create a sense of superiority in an angel, a sense that comes to the fore when an angel's task conflicts with the goals of another creature. The angel never acquiesces or gives way. When an angel is sent to aid mortals, it is sent not to serve, but to command. The gods of good therefore send angels among mortals only in response to the most dire circumstances. Fallen angels. An angel's moral compass grants it a sense of infallibility that can sometimes spell its undoing. Angels are usually too wise to fall for a simple deception, but sometimes pride can lead one to commit an evil act. Whether intentional or accidental, such an act is a permanent stain that marks the angel as an outcast. Fallen angels retain their powers, but lose their connection to the deities from which they were made. Most fallen angels take their banishment personally, rebelling against the powers they serve by seeking rulership over a section of the abyss or a place among other fallen in the hierarchy of the Nine Hells. Zariel, the ruler of the first layer of the Nine Hells, is such a creature. Rather than rebel, some fallen angels resign themselves to an isolated existence on the material plane, living in disguise as simple hermits. If they are redeemed, they can become powerful allies dedicated to justice and compassionate service. They don't require food, drink, or sleep. It's just like your guy, Xavier. Cheap wife. Yes. So, that's a description of angels overall. Now, let's, as always, stat block. Check. We've got a sufficient intelligence. Azavil. Thank you. It looked like a capital I. Azavil. Anvil. Okay. Deva. Devas are angels that act as divine messengers or agents to the material plane, the Shadowfell, and Feywild that can assume a form appropriate to the realm they are sent to. Oh, we hate Azavel in this household? Okay, sucks, Bippy. That guy sucks. Legend tells of angels that take mortal form for years, lending aid, hope, and courage to good-hearted folk. A Deva can take any shape, although it prefers to appear to mortals as an innocuous humanoid or animal. When circumstances require that it cast off its guise, a Deva is a beautiful humanoid-like creature with silvery skin. Its hair and eyes gleam with unearthly luster, and large feathery wings unfurl from its shoulder blades. Like this guy. Is there any more on Deva? No. Okay. I'd ask it to become a wheel. You hate his hair? Yeah, his hair could be better. Frankly, I like this guy's bald look. I think he's pulling it off really well. Okay. Deva. Pros, gritty, always right. Cons, always right. What are we thinking for Deva? You just think it'd be something interesting to look at. I'm thinking Deva make it to the wife material, but maybe... Exactly, your wife is always right. No interest outside of meat. But I don't know if Deva will win, because I imagine it might be difficult to be married to... You're thinking girlfriend? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Maybe let's read the other angels, and that might help us put them down. You've no ball in this game. Deva is an independent woman. Ground material or higher, yeah. Okay. Planetars act as the weapons of the gods they serve, presenting a tangible representation of their deity's might. A planetar can call down rain to relieve a drought, or can loose an insect plague to devour crops. Planetar's celestial ears detect every falsehood, and its radiant eyes see through every deception, just like a wife. Planetars are muscular and hairless and have opalescent green skin and white feathered wings. They tower over most humanoids, brandishing immense swords with grace. Sometimes sent to aid powerful mortals in important tasks for good, planetars are especially fond of missions involving battling fiends. And of course, intelligence is good. I like that they're green. Like, I don't know whose idea that was, but it's kind of funny. Yes. And Solar. Intelligence check. Oh, dang. The Solar is godlike in its glory and power. On the battlefield, the Solar's sword flies into the fray on its own, and a single arrow from a Solar's bow can strike a target dead on contact. So great is the Solar's celestial might that even demon princes shrink at its resonant commands. It is said that only 24 Solars exist. The few Solars that are known are stewards of specific deities. The others rest in a state of contemplation, waiting for the time when their services are needed to stave off some cosmic threat to the cause of good. Limited edition. Okay. We've got Deva, Planetar, and Solar. Angel blind about. You're rare. You think Planetar is friend? I'm actually gonna put Planetar as girlfriend. My worry with the angels is they have jobs. Listen. Can someone who swings in any direction voice their opinion? Yes, I can. Okay. I don't think anyone in this chat swings. Yeah, I don't know about anybody in the chat swinging anywhere. Only Sionbo. Maybe Smithy. I don't know if this is Smithy's chat. We're not talking Pokemon. If Hivat was here. Or Potato. Okay. That their job is more important than... Okay, that's a good point. We don't have a problem with wife having a job. That's not a problem at all. But job would be definitely more important than husband. What's the intelligence? Dang it! Animated armor does not have a sufficient intelligence. It is animated armor. Armor that is animated. The sword and the rug also have small intelligences. Maynard Armor is a doll. Yeah. Cursed puppet. And Keg almost had my players fight this a while ago. That's just an animal. So we're gonna skip Ankeg as well. Which brings us to Azer. Ankeg looks polite. That's a very you thing to say. I'm just gonna say. That's a very you thing to say. Okay. Azer. I don't like the way he's looking at us. Natives of the element plane of fire, Azers are master crafters, expert miners, and sworn foes of the Efreet. In appearance and manner, an Azer resembles a male dwarf, but this is a facade. Beneath its metallic-looking skin, an Azer is a being of fire in which outwardly manifests its fiery hair and beard. Made, not born. Azers do not reproduce. They are each crafted from bronze by another Azer and imbued with a portion of the crafter's inner flame. Each Azer is sculpted with unique features. This crafting process limits the growth of the Azer population and is the primary reason that these creatures remain rare. Unless it is a male wife. Mr. E does want a woman. But hypothetically, an Azer could be made as a woman. First one came from a dwarf. You think that is culturally insensitive? It could be. Let's read on. Volcanic dwellers. Azers dwell in a kingdom of the border between the elemental plane of earth and elemental plane of fire. A range of mountains and volcanoes whose spires rise as a series of fortresses. Beneath mountain peaks, under volcanic calderas, and amid rivers of magma, Azers extract gleaming metals and glittering gems from the earth. Squads of Azer patrol the passes of the tunnels of their realm, fending off the Salamander Raiders, whose Efreet masters order strikes against the Azer Empire. You'd be making an outcast. That's good. That's a good point. Oh, drama! Long ago, the Efreet and Azers were allies. Azers helped create the city of Brass, forging that home of the Efreet into one of the most wondrous places in creation. When the Azers had finished their work, the Efreet betrayed them, making a failed attempt to enslave the Azers so as to protect the secrets of the city. Despite occasional raids and skirmishes, however, the two sides have so far refrained from an all-out conflict. The Azers believe that only the threat of them revealing the hidden ways into the city of Brass keeps the Efreet in check. Like white ravens. Masters of metal and gems. Azers are masterful artisans and create beautiful works from the gems and precious metals found in their volcanic habitat. They rate the value of such treasures above all other things, sometimes dispatching parties across planes to seek out rare metals and gemstones. Okay. When Azers are called by magic to the material plane, it is typically to help forge an elaborate magic item or work of art, for it is said that their skill in such craft knows no equal. Living fire. An Azer doesn't require food, drink, or sleep. I think they go in friend material. Since they value gems above all else, they are male in appearance, and you can't touch them. Well, I don't know how good of a friend they'd be, because they value those materials things so much that they might not be a good friend either. So maybe their last resort? What do we think? Last resort. All I needed was one voice. Sounds good to me. I like being able to interact with friends, yeah. Banshee! Got the intelligence! It's a lady! Cheap wife other than the jewelry. Yeah, I think that Wallanazer might not need to eat, drink, or sleep. You're gonna spend all that money on gems. Can you physically interact with a banshee? We'll find out. When night falls, unlucky travelers hear the faint cries of the forlorn dead. This woeful spirit is a banshee, a spiteful creature, oh no, formed from the spirit of a female elf. Banshees appear as luminous, wispy forms that vaguely recall their mortal features. A banshee's face is wreathed in a wild tangle of hair, its body clad in wispy rags that flutter and stream about it. What's wrong with a spiteful wife? Typical wife. We want a nice wife! We want a good, healthy relationship for Mr. E. You could help them with their spiteful plans. True. True. Divine Wrath. Banshees are the undead remnants of elves who, blessed with great beauty, failed to use their gifts to bring joy to the world. Instead, they use their beauty to corrupt and control others. Elves afflicted by the Banshee's curse experience no gladness, feeling only distress in the presence of the living. As the curse takes its toll, their minds and bodies decay, until death completes their transformation into undead monsters. Why are they elves? Probably because of the beauty thing. Sorrowbound. A banshee becomes forever bound to the place of its demise, unable to venture more than 5 miles from there. It is forced to relive every moment of its life with perfect recall, yet always refuses to accept responsibility for its doom. Beauty hoarders. The vanity that inspired the banshee's cursed creation persists in undeath. These creatures covet beautiful objects, fine jewelry, paintings, statues, and other objects of art. At the same time, a banshee abhors any mirrored surface, for it can't bear to see the horror of its own existence. A single glimpse of itself is enough to send a banshee into a rage. Does not require air, food, drink, or sleep. Elves can't be ghouls in Forgotten Realms, so they got a special undead. Oh, that's how you defeated a banshee with silver. You made it look at its reflection in the spoon. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a very healthy relationship with a banshee. We made a cape of spoons. And threw a mirror at it. Yeah, Banshee, I like that it's being put in last resort instead of haha no. Could be wifed up. We'll see. Basilisk! Intelligence fails, but they're cool. No one carves statues of frightened warriors. If you see one, keep your eyes closed and your ears open. Intelligence! Behir has the intelligence we need! I've already eaten 3 giant bats, 6 troglodytes, and a mind flayer today. But that's okay. Plenty of room in my belly for you and your friends. Lud the Behir, confronting adventures in the lost caverns of Swinjan. Oh, this guy's tougher than an aboleth. The serpentine behir. Yeah, very fresh. Doesn't want to be eaten, though. The serpentine behir crawls along floors and clambers up walls to reach its prey. Its lightning breath can incinerate most creatures, even as more powerful foes are constricted in its coils and eaten alive. A behir's monstrous form resembles a combination of a centipede and a crocodile. Its scaled hide ranges from ultramarine to deep blue in color, fading to pale blue on its underside, so it is pretty. Cavern predators. Behirs lair in places inaccessible to other creatures, favoring locations where would-be intruders must make a harrowing climb to reach them. Deep pits, high caves and cliff walls, and caverns reached only by narrow, twisting tunnels are prime sites for their behir ambush. A behir's dozen legs allow it to scramble through its lair with ease. When not climbing, it moves even faster by folding its legs inside its body and slithering like a snake. Behirs swallow their prey whole, after which they enter a period of dormancy while they digest. While dormant, a behir chooses a hiding place where intruders from its lair might overlook it. In times long forgotten, giants and dragons engaged in a seemingly endless war. Storm giants created the first behirs as weapons against the dragons. Behirs retain a natural hatred for dragonkind. A behir never makes its lair in an area it knows to be inhabited by a dragon. If a dragon attempts to establish a lair within a few dozen miles of a behir's lair, the behir is compelled to kill the dragon or drive it off. Only if the dragon proves too powerful to fight does a behir back down, seeking out a new lair a great distance away. And we don't know Mr. E's alignment, so being evil might not be a deal breaker. She is hungry. So we need to make sure that we have... But Mr. E, I believe, has the funds. I prefer to date someone rather than... Or prefer to eat someone rather than date them. But it is friend-shaped. Lightning breath, swallow. Doesn't like dragons. I think I'm hearing a lot of friend material. You think it's girlfriend material, and then it doesn't seem like it'd be a terrible wife off the description, but there's nothing that makes it a great wife. I think that is why we're going to put it in friend, actually. Twitch didn't give you a notification. Oh, the cuddles would be nice. Welcome, hi, Vat. Okay, for the sake of cuddles, Behir will become a girlfriend material, because nothing makes it seem like a good wife, nothing makes it seem like a bad wife. But it would have good cuddles, and it is pretty. So. Yes, hi, Vat. We are trying to find Mr. E a wife from the Monster Manual. Things have to have either a 4 or a 5 minimum. I haven't fully decided between the two. Intelligence. I think eating people makes it a bad wife, sure. As I said, we don't know about Mr. E's morals. Alright. I happen to know beholders do have sufficient intelligences, see? 5 is the minimum sapience in D&D. I think that's what I'm pretty sure it is. But I saw something said that they could speak if it had 4. So we'll kind of read the description. If it has an intelligence of 4, to check to see if it does have sufficient intelligence. But I think it's going to be 5 as our cutoff. Okay. One glance at a beholder is enough to assess its foul and otherworldly nature. Lair. Oh, dang. That alone. 10 out of 10 on this housing market. That's true. It has a house already. Okay. One glance at a beholder is enough to assess its foul and otherworldly nature. Aggressive, hateful, and greedy. These aberrations dismiss all other creatures as lesser beings, toying with them or destroying them as they choose. I bet would be down with anything if it meant getting a house. A beholder's spheroid body levitates at all times, and its great bulging eyes sits above a wide, toothy maw, while the smaller eye stalks that crown its body twist and turn to keep its foes in sight. When a beholder sleeps, it closes its central eye but leaves its smaller eyes open and alert. Xenophobic isolationists. Enemies abound, or so every beholder believes. Beholders are convinced that other creatures resent them for their brilliance and magical power, even as they dismiss those lesser creatures as crude and disgusting. Beholders always suspect others of plotting against them, even when no other creatures are around. The disdain a beholder has for other creatures extends to other beholders. Each beholder believes its form to be an ideal, and that any deviation from that form is a flaw in the racial purity of its kind. Beholders vary greatly in their physical forms, making conflict between them inevitable. Some beholders are protected by overlapping chitinous plates. Some have smooth hides. Some have eye stalks that writhe like tentacles, while others' stalks bear crustacean-like joints. Even slight differences of coloration and hide can turn two beholders into lifelong enemies. Is Mr. E a big spoon or a little spoon? We don't know. Probably a big spoon, but I don't think he cares much. Unless Mr. E is a beholder, it's a slam dunk for haha no. Yeah, probably. I think Mr. E is too intelligent for one to like him. We needed one of its eyes for our quest, and one of us was a drug dealer. You told me about the cocaine. Eye Tyrant. Some beholders manage to channel their xenophobic tendencies into terrible despotism. Rather than live in isolation, they aptly named Eye Tyrants enslaved those other creatures, founding and controlling vast empires. An Eye Tyrant sometimes carves out a domain within or under a major city, commanding networks of agents that operate on their master's behalf. Yes, knowing that Mr. E is looking for a non-beholder, he probably is not a beholder. Oh. And Brixit pretended to be a member of the Cocaine Sellers Association while a paladin. Was your oath to sell drugs? Alien layers. Because they refuse to share territory with others, most beholders withdraw to frigid hills, abandoned ruins, and deep caverns to scheme. A beholder's lair is carved out by its disintegration eye ray, emphasizing vertical passages connecting chambers stacked on top of each other. Such an environment allows a beholder to move freely, even as it prevents intruders from easily creeping about. When intruders do break in, the height of its open ceilings allows a beholder to float up and carry foes on the floor. Oh, vengeance about my mother. You're saying it was just a face. As alien as their creator, the rooms in a beholder's lair reflect the creature's arrogance. It festoons its chambers with trophies from battles it has won, including petrified adventures standing frozen in their horrified final moments, pieces of other beholders, and magic items wrested from powerful foes. A beholder judges its own worth by its acquisitions, and it never willingly parts with its treasures. He was a Nepo baby fairy. Okay, description of its lair. Death Tyrant. On rare occasions, a beholder's sleeping mind drifts to places beyond its normal madness, imagining a reality in which it exists beyond death. When such dreams take hold, a beholder can transform, its flesh sloughing away to leave a death tyrant behind. This monster possesses the cunning and much of the magic it had in life, but it is fueled by the power of undeath. The death tyrant appears as a massive naked skull with a pinpoint of red light gleaming in its hollow eye socket. With its eye stalks rotted away, 10 spectral eyes hover above the creature and glare in all directions. Deathly Despot. As they did when they were beholders, death tyrants lord their power over other creatures. Moreover, a beholder's ability to quash magical energy with its central eye gives way to a more sinister power in a death tyrant, which can transform former slaves and enemies into undead servants. Zombies created by a death tyrant are used and discarded as needed. They stand guard at the entrances to the tyrant's lair or guard its treasure vaults. Acting as bait for traps or as combat fodder, zombies keep powerful enemies distracted while the death tyrant moves into position and prepares to destroy them. Armies of the Dead. The death tyrant that embraces undeath becomes an engine of destruction. Driven by a hunger for power and security, it advances against humanoid settlements using its eye ray to destroy every creature it encounters, then building an army of undead. If left unchecked, death tyrant might wipe out the population of a city in weeks, then set its undead eye on a wider conquest. As each settlement falls, the death tyrant's zombie forces build to overwhelming numbers. It does not require air, food, drink, or sleep. And more descriptions about a lair. Intelligence? Check. Every beholder thinks it is the epitome of beholdering. It is the only thing it fears that it might be wrong. Alright. Yeah, I think beholder falls in haha no. As does Death Tyrant. I just don't think a relationship is gonna work. They're too selfish. Oh, what's a spectator? Okay. A spectator is a lesser beholder that is summoned from another plane of existence by a magical ritual, the components of which include 4 beholder eye stalks that are consumed by the ritual's magic. Appropriately, a spectator has 4 eye stalks, 2 on each side of the wide eye of the center of its 4-foot diameter body. Magical Guardian. A summoned spectator guards a location or a treasure of its summoner's choice for 101 years, allowing no creature but its summoner to enter the area or access the item, unless the summoner instructed otherwise. If the item is stolen or destroyed before the years have all passed, a summoned spectator vanishes. It otherwise never abandons its post. Keep trying to scroll down and zooming out. Glimmers of Madness. Though it can speak, a spectator communicates primarily by way of telepathy. It is civil while on guard, openly discussing its orders and its summoner. However, even a brief conversation with a spectator is enough to reveal quirks in its personality brought on by its years of isolation. It might invent imaginary enemies, refer to itself in the third person, or try to adopt the voice of its summoner. Like any beholder, a spectator views itself as the epitome of its kind, and it has an intense hatred of other spectators. If 2 spectators encounter one another, they almost always fight to the death. Freed from service. When a spectator has fulfilled its service, it is free to do as it pleases. Many take up residence in the places they have previously guarded, especially if their summoners have died. With a spectator's loss of purpose, the flickers of madness is displayed during its servitude flourish. Goth spectator, because they are so quirky. Okay, yeah, I think spectator also falls under haha no. Blights. Okay, they can understand common but can't speak. They are intelligence of 4. Vine Blight has the intelligence of 5. So we gotta give Vine Blights a chance. Would No speech probably means no. Okay. Blights. Intervention plans back off the back burner. Or should I say would? Oh, you're finally Brexit. Blights. Awakened plants with the powers of intelligence and mobility, blights plague lands contaminated by darkness. Drinking that darkness from the soil, a blight carries out the will of an ancient evil and attempts to spread that evil wherever it can. No, you should not. Y'all know me. Roots of the Gulthias tree. Legends tell of a vampire named Gulthias, who worked terrible magic and raised up an abominable tower called Nightfang Spire. Gulthias was undone when a hero plunged a wooden stake through his heart, but as the vampire was destroyed, his blood infused the stake with a dreadful power. In time, tendrils of new growth sprouted from the wood, growing into a sapling infused with the vampire's evil essence. It is said that a mad druid discovered the sapling, transplanting it into an underground grotto where it could grow. From this Gulthias tree came the seeds from which the first blights were sown. Y'all know what I want. Let's drink. I don't think it'd be good to go for a pure evil walking plant. I can fix it. No, you can't. I will water them with fish tank water. It's not good nutrients. Dark Conquest. Wherever a tree or plant is contaminated by a fragment of an evil mind or power, a Gulthias tree can rise to infest and corrupt the surrounding forest. Its evil spreads through root and soil to other plants, which perish or transform into blights. As those blights spread, they poison and uproot healthy plants, replacing them with brambles, toxic weeds, and others of their kind. In time, an infestation of blights can turn any land or forest into a place of corruption. In forests infested with blights, trees and plants grow with supernatural speed. Vines and undergrowth rapidly spread through buildings and overrun trails and roads. After blights have killed or driven off their inhabitants, whole villages can disappear in the space of days. Are they toxic? We're gonna find out. Probably. Controlled by evil. Blights are independent creatures, but most act under the Gulthias tree's control, often displaying the habits and traits of the life force or spirit that spawned them. By attacking their progenitor's old foes or seeking out treasures valuable to it, they carry on the legacy of long-lost evil. Okay. And a beetle and a twig blight both do not have sufficient intelligence, but a vine blight does. Appearing as masses of slithering creepers, vine blights hide in the undergrowth and wait for prey to draw near. By animating the plants around them, vine blights entangle and hinder their foes before attacking. Vine blights are the only blights capable of speech. Through its connection to the evil spirit of the Gulthias tree it serves, a vine blight speaks in a fractured version of its dead master's voice, taunting victims or bargaining with powerful foes. Okay. What do we think about Vine Blight? I think that one's the Vine Blight. I think it's Last Resort or Haha No. You don't think it's gonna be a good wife? He's just gonna have to water it and... I like how little this one is. Vines equals tentacles. Think they'd tear you apart. You'd think they'd make him sick. Good point. They're like infused with poison and stuff. New intervention plans added to the list. Okay. I think we'll stick that there for now. No, I think it is a haha no. We'll put it in haha no. Bugbear! Intelligence, intelligence! Check, check, check! Got them eyebrows. Bugbears are born for battle and mayhem. Surviving by raiding and hunting, they bully the weak and despise being bossed around, but their love of carnage means they will fight for powerful masters if bloodshed and treasure are assured. Bugbears smell, don't they? Probably. Goblinoids. Bugbears are often found in the company of their cousins, hobgoblins and goblins. Bugbears usually enslave goblins they encounter, and they bully hobgoblins into giving them gold and food in return for serving as scouts and shock troops. Even when paid, bugbears are, at best, unreliable allies, yet goblins and hobgoblins understand that no matter how much bugbears might drain a tribe of resources, these creatures are a potent force. Bugbears are playable. Followers of Bruggic. Bugbears worship Bruggic, a lesser god who dwells in the plane of Acheron. In the absence of their goblinoid kin, bugbears form loose warbands, each one led by its fiercest member. Bugbears believe that when they die, their spirits have a chance to fight at Bruggic's side. They try to prove themselves worthy by defeating as many foes as possible. I think that might be the worst part. Just join their tribe. Why is D&D so obsessed with that? Intern keepers. Forget multi-class and be boring with those long arms. He should be dribbling and scoring. Like part of most creature stories. Yeah, it's pretty common. Beetle ambushers. Despite their intimidating builds, bugbears move with surprising stealth. They are fond of setting ambushes and flee when outmatched. They are dependable mercenaries as long as they are supplied with food, drink, and treasure. But a bugbear forgets any bond when its life is on the line. A wounded member of a bugbear band might be left behind to help with the rest of the band escape. Afterward, that bugbear might help pursuers track down its former companions, if doing so saves its life. Alright. Bugbear. I think last resort. I just don't know if they would be able to prioritize the relationship very well. They're very selfish. But I am seeing a lot of friend, so we can put it in friend. Oh, I totally typed the wrong thing there. Bugbear. Good partner. Extremely evil. Bullet does not have sufficient intelligence. Bullywug, sufficient intelligence. What is the last resort in wife material? Not dog. Dog is haha no. Bullet is just the dog from Silk Song. Oh, okay. Bullywug! Why is there a last resort in wife material? I don't know. Just felt right. Oh, I thought I deleted that. Did it go somewhere again? It went somewhere again. I want to delete this one. Okay, that's how to delete it. Sorry, I didn't understand what chat was trying to communicate. Like, last resort is last resort. I thought I deleted it. I guess I moved it all the way up to wife material. Okay. Life as a bullywug is nasty, brutish, and wet. These frog-headed amphibious humanoids must stay constantly moist, dwelling in rainy forests, marshes, and damp caves. Always hungry and thoroughly evil, bullywugs overwhelm opponents with superior numbers when they can. They flee from serious threats to search for easier prey. The Loveland Road. Bullywugs have green, gray, or mottled yellow skin that shifts through the shades of gray, green, and brown, allowing them to blend in with their surroundings. They wear crude armor and wield simple weapons and can deliver a powerful bite to foes that press too close. Foul aristocracy. Bullywugs consider themselves the right and proper rulers of the swamps. They follow an etiquette of sorts when dealing with outsiders and each other, subject to the whims and fancies of their leader, a self-styled lord of muck. Bullywugs introduce themselves with grand-sounding titles, making great shows of bowing and debasing themselves before their superiors, and endlessly vie to win their superiors' favor. Elfwizard, eat this man. A bullywug has two ways to advance among its kind. It can either murder its rivals, though it must take pains to keep its criminal deeds secret, or it can find a treasure or magic item and present it as tribute or token of obeisance to its liege. A bullywug that murders its rivals without planning is likely to be executed, so it's more common for bullywugs to stage raids against caravans and settlements with the goal of securing precious baubles to impress their lords and win their good graces. Invariable, such fine goods are reduced to filthy tatters through abuse and neglect. Once a gift loses its sheen, the bullywug lord invariably demands that its subjects bring more treasures as tribute. Unruly diplomacy. Bullywugs love nothing more than lording over those who trespass on their territories. Their warriors attempt to capture intruders rather than simply slaying them. Captives are dragged before the king or queen, bullywug of unusually large size, and forced to beg for mercy. Bribes, treasure, or flattery can trick the bullywug ruler into letting its captives go, but not before it tries to impress its guests with the majesty of its treasure and its realm. Struck with a deep inferiority complex, Bullywug lords fancy themselves as kings and queens, but desperately crave the fear and respect of outsiders. Amphibian allies. Bullywugs speak a language that allows them to communicate over large areas by croaking like frogs. News of intruders or other events in the swamp spread within minutes across this crude communication system. Gold digger bullywug. Simple concepts in the language are understandable to toads and frogs. Bullywugs use this capability to form strong bonds with giant frogs, which they train as guardians and hunters. Larger specimens are sometimes used as mounts as well. The frog's ability to swallow creatures whole provides a bullywug hunting band an easy means of carrying prey back to their villages. Neutral evil. If you know what you're doing, at least friend. I'm thinking friend. Last resort does call to them, but I think if you know what you're doing, you can get one to work with you. We don't have any wives yet, which makes me a little sad. They are suck-ups last resort. Yeah, but, like, if you have the treasures of them, which I presume Mr. E does. I don't think I like the idea of regurgitated food. You're looking at the monster manual. Yeah, I know! What do you expect? Actually, I do know at least one creature is going to get ranked as wife. It'll be kind of funny if it's the only one. the Gynosphinx is going to be wife material, and I'm gonna try to haggle with you guys to get hags into wife material as well. Alright, Bullywug. I'm keeping it in friend. Cambion! I love Cambions. Witch hag, I will change my answer. We'll see which hag. But I just telling you now, I bet she makes a mean casserole. I bet all of the hags do. Casserole of children. Maybe that's why it's a mean casserole. Get it? Mean. Okay. Cambion! One of my favorite things in the Monster Manual. I just think they're neat. A Cambion is the offspring of a fiend, usually a succubus or incubus, and a humanoid, usually a human. Cambions inherit aspects of both parents, but their horns, leathery wings, and sinewy tails are hallmarks of their otherworldly parentage. Born to be bad. Cambions grow into ruthless adults whose wickedness and perversion horrifies even the most devoted mortal parents. Even as a youth, a Cambion identifies its rightful place as an overlord of mortals. It might orchestrate or uprising in towns and cities, gathering gangs of humanoids and lesser devils to serve it. Children pop by. Cons of the Mighty. A Cambion forced to serve its fiendish parent does so out of admiration and dread, but also with the expectation that it will one day rise to a place of prominence. Cambions raised in the Nine Hells serve as soldiers, envoys, and personal attendants to greater devils. In the Abyss, a Cambion carries only as much authority as it can muster through sheer strength and force of will. Spawn of Graz'zt. The demon lord Graz'zt is fond of procreating with humanoids who have made pacts with fiends, and he has sired many Cambions who help him sow chaos across the multiverse. These Cambions are characterized by charcoal black skin, cloven hooves, six-fingered hands, and unearthly beauty. Oh, that kid was neat. Fiendish charm. They have charm. Where is the nearest roof? Are you outside or something? Honestly, wife material, they just have a little bit of anger issues, but that's yeah, what, tail, wings, pretty cool. There's a dove outside my window! Hold on, I'm gonna look at the dove. It's a pretty bird. Is that a sign? Is that a sign? I think the dove is a sign that this is our first wife material. They pretty. They powerful. Do not want kids' cuisine from a hag. They crawl from their mother's wombs to spread corruption through the multiverse. What's not to love? I feel like if we put Cambion there, we have to also move Deva up. I think we're gonna move Deva. And I just feel like, to be equal, we need to have one of the angels if we're putting Cambion up there. Which I'm totally down to put Cambion up to wife material. Eva? Eva. She's always right. She's also always right. Okay, fantastic. Carrion Crawler, not there. Centaur! I have high hopes for you. Deva X Cambion? When? Okay, so actually I have a really fun Cambion character. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So, there is, in this setting I have, it's a setting for a one-shot. There is a, oh, what are they called? The angel people. Oh, what are they called? I can't remember what the angel person race is called. It starts with an A, but I'm drawing a blank on it other than that. Aasimar. A swamp? Aasimar. So I have this like D&D premise where there's this Aasimar. She's really powerful. She is just doing a number on demonic forces. So one of the kings of hell, yes, human babies can't hold their head up for months and baby horses can run. I've seen the image of someone drawing a centaur with the babies flopping on top of the horse bodies. It's really cute. So this Aasimar is like doing really well in the battle against the demons. So one of the princes of hell sends one of his sons, an incubus, to go take her down. Use some subterfuge. And she tricks him. She has a suspicion of who he is off the bat, just because she's kind of paranoid. Even though he does a really good job of pretending to be a person. She tricks him. She tells him she's gonna make him drink a truth potion, which he's like, oh, I can totally manipulate my way around a health potion. Not a health potion, a truth potion. It's a love potion. And he's like, oh, what is this feeling? Because he fails to save. And he decides that actually he does want to fall in love, and so he deserts the demonic side. He and her fall in love. It's really funny. And they have a Cambion son, who is the most angsty teenager. Because he thinks he's just a tiefling, because his dad puts a spell on him to hide his wings. And he runs away from home, and the D&D one-shot is you have to go get him back. And then he finds out that he's a Cambion in the one-shot, and he's like, Dad, what's happening? And his dad's like, I might need to tell you that I'm an incubus. I love them. They're all named after flowers. They're really funny. I made them in The Sims. I love them. They're fantastic. They're really fun. They're really, really fun. They make me laugh. Because, and I think we'll get there when we get to, we might even get there today, but there's like a single line or something in the succubus and incubus entry where it's like, they can be good sometimes, and I was like, that's underutilized. And that's where the idea came from. But he's immortal, so it's kind of sad, because eventually his wife, Helianthus, she dies. It's really sad. But he keeps up the mission to keep devils out of the mortal realm for her. But he keeps up the ruse that he's a human. Or an elf. And he just goes on for centuries for her. It's really sweet. The succubus can be made holy in Forgotten Realms. I know. It's great. I love... We have so many twist villains and things in popular media. I love a twist hero. Or like when we do these sort of redemptions. I love them. They're so good. They're just I love them. It makes me happy. In my one setting, Succubi and Incubi. Aren't they penguin people? Yeah, they're penguin people. Okay. Centaurs. Okay. Centaur. Reclusive wanderers and omen readers of the wild, centaurs avoid conflict but fight fiercely when pressed. They roam the vast wilderness, keeping far from borders, laws, and the company of other creatures. "38-year-old centaur with double back pain." No! Okay. Wilderness nomads. Centaur tribes range across lands with mild to hot climates, where a centaur requires only light furs or oiled skins to deal with inclement weather. They are hunter-gatherers and rarely build shelters or even use tents. They just sit there in the rain. Like a horse, I guess. Centaur migrations span continents and take decades to repeat, so that a centaur tribe might not retread the same path for generations. These long-ranging patterns can lead to conflict when centaurs encounter settlements of other creatures built along their traditional routes. Reluctant settlers. A centaur that can't keep pace with the rest of the tribe is left behind. Aww. Some such centaurs vanish into the wilderness and are never seen again. Those that can bear the loss of their tribe might take up residence among other races. Frontier settlements value the nature knowledge of their centaur residents. Many such communities owe their survival to the insight and acumen of a centaur. Despite their reclusive natures, centaurs trade with elves and with caravans of other benevolent humanoids they meet during their wanderings. A trader might save the life of a wounded or elderly centaur unfit for long travel, escorting it to a settlement where it can peacefully live out the rest of its days. Yeah, they're just horse people. I think haunts. I think they have some of the same things as Aarakocra, but they're not as flighty, so I think centaur is girlfriend material. But I could be persuaded to wife. Centaur goes in haha no because I have an extreme hatred of horses. It's unfortunate. I love horses. I was almost the horse girl in elementary school. But I was outdone by a true horse girl. So. Haunts. Yes, I have a bunch of little horse figurines. I'm obsessed with unicorns, actually. Anytime I see something unicorn, I'm like, it's a unicorn! Love horses. But I will respect that you do not like horses. That is okay. I'm just saying. Centaurs got my respect. I think Brixit is threatening with her mod powers again. Okay. Centaur. Oh, interesting. They have a below average intelligence. I would have expected it to be a little higher because of their nature knowledge. BRB. See you soon, Flamepoint. Yeah, I think we're gonna put girlfriend, make it over the Aarakocra, but I don't know if they're quite ready to settle down with someone. But I could be persuaded to move Centaur up to wife. Does anybody think it should be up with wife? Girlfriend? Okay. I just needed a little bit of validation. Chimera does not make the intelligence. Still freaking sick. Yes, many of the Twitch emotes suck. That reminds me, I need to make emotes at some point. It'll happen in like 17 years. Chul! Oh my gosh, this thing has sufficient intelligence! Let's see how if we can wipe this thing up! Okay. It's immune to being poisoned. Buckets type exactly. Friendship! That's Brixit. Chul. Survivors of an ancient aboleth empire, chuls are crustaceans, the aboleths modified and endowed with sentience. Naked Shuckle Twitch emote when? Primeval relics. In the primeval ages, aboleth ruled a vast empire that spanned the oceans of the world. In those days, when aboleths used mighty magic and bent the minds of nascent creatures of the mortal realm... Hold on. Yeah. However, they were bound to the water and could not enforce their will beyond it without servants. Therefore, they created chuls. Perfectly obedient, the chuls collected sentient creatures and magic at the aboleth's command. Chuls were designed to endure the ages of the world, growing in size and strength as the eons passed. When the aboleth's empire crumbled with the rise of the gods, the chuls were cast adrift. However, these creatures continued to do what they did for the aboleths, slowly collecting humanoids, gathering treasure, amassing magic, and consolidating power. Xiambo, can we see a mole cricket? Eldritch interns. What does it require to add custom emotes to a Twitch channel? I'm not fully certain, actually. I don't know if I can make them yet. I think I might need to get a little bit bigger before I can make emotes. But one day I hope to have emotes. Okay. Everybody, bug warning. Brixit has requested us to see a mole cricket. Bug warning in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. They do look pretty polite for a bug. I like their little hands. Oh my gosh! He's so cute! They're very cute. Oh, welcome, Nemesis. Oh, I like this one. What a funky little guy. Nemesis. Just a little guy. Alright, bug warning over. Well, real bug warning. We're still looking at a chul. I sure hope I'm recording. My system is set to automatically record. Yep, I'm recording. Tireless Guardians. Chuls still guard the remains of ancient aboleth empire. They linger in silent observance of eons-old commands. Rumors and ancient maps sometimes lure treasure seekers to these ruins, but the reward for their boldness is death. Death, 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 death. Whatever riches that the explorers bring with them adds to the hoards guarded by the Chuuls. Chuuls can sense magic at a distance. This sense, coupled with the innate drive that leads them to slay explorers, take their gear, and bury in secret locales aboleths dictated eons ago. Waiting servants. Although the aboleth's ancient empire fell long ago, the psychic bonds between them and their created servants remains intact. Chuuls that come into contact with aboleths immediately assume their old roles. Such Chuuls redirect their compulsions to the service of the aboleth's sinister purposes. Is it bad? Is it bad that I'm thinking we put Chuul as girlfriend? She has a hobby. If Mr. E's an aboleth, I think it'd be really great. Or a fellow Chuul. What do we think? Friend at most, friend at best? It says they're chaotic evil, but I don't know, man. Friend? Okay. We'll do friend. Brexit is now saying girlfriend. You've changed your mind? Or were you saying you agree with me? California girl. Okay, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Right now, friend is winning. Am I spelling Chuul right? I don't think I am. Yeah, it's 2 U's, 1 L. You don't see a poll? I don't know how polls work on your end. I've only ever made them on my end. Let's... Oh. Oh, now it's tied. Okay, maybe it just doesn't work super great. Maybe they only show up on PC. Okay. Let's roll a die, baby! Chunk. Got my dice. The dice will decide. My vote is girlfriend. Everybody put your votes. Maybe I can just count them in chat. You think it's 3-2 for girlfriend? The dice also agree. Girlfriend. 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 The dice. Are they? Okay. Swoop. The Planetars and Solars are feeling really offended right now. Cloaker has intelligence. Cloakers earned their names for the resemblance they bear to dark, leathery cloaks. Lurking in remote dungeons and caves, these stealthy predators wait to slay lone or injured prey stumbling through the darkness. Camouflaged lurkers. Like a stingray, a cloaker's body is composed of cartilage and muscle. With its tail and fins unfurled, it flies through the darkness and lurks among the shadows of caverns the same way a stingray glides through the water and hides on the ocean floor. If they wanted to make wife, they should have gotten their priorities together. Parallel rows of round black eye spots run along its back like buttons, and ivory-colored claws on its cowl resemble bone clasps. When a cloaker furls and moves to attack, it reveals its pale underside and makes its true nature evident. Red eyes glow above rows of sharp teeth, and a long, pendulous tail whips behind it. When hunting, cloakers glide through the shadows at a safe distance behind groups of other creatures traveling the Underdark. They follow parties of humanoids to prey on the wounded after a battle, or pursue herds of Underdark beasts, attacking the sick, the weak, and the straggling. Cloakers strike quickly and then consume their meals as swiftly as possible, enveloping and devouring their victims. While it feeds, the cloaker uses its swift whip-like tail for defense, though it rarely takes a stand against dangerous foes or groups of creatures. As an added defense, cloakers can create illusory depictions of themselves. Haunting moan. Cloakers' thoughts are alien to other life forms, and they communicate with one another through subsonic moans inaudible to most creatures. At higher intensities, the cloaker's haunting moans becomes audible, evoking a sensation of doom and dread in the creature that hears it. Cloakers prefer isolation, but they sometimes convene with other cloakers for defense or to exchange information about new dangers, suitable hunting grounds, or developments that might affect their habitats. When this convergence is complete, the cloakers separate again. It can speak 2 languages. Not with Mr. E. You're giving the Chul address. Okay. We don't know what languages Mr. E speaks. He's specifically asked to find a wife from the Monster Manual. I bet he speaks a ton of languages. Is it Mr. E because he's a mystery? Yes. Okay. This is a fun thing. Cloaker only takes half damage dealt to it, and the creature that it's attached to takes the other half. It says that they have alien thoughts. I'm thinking either haha no or last resort. And I'm leaning mostly towards last resort. It's smart, but not in a human way. Yeah. Exactly. And welcome, Noah Dior. Welcome to the stream. We were talking about the object earlier. Okay. Nothing specifically stands out as it would be a toxic relationship, but I don't think it would be just vibes. But that's what's going to keep it out of the haha no. Oh, I'm the first person to pronounce your name right. I'm really happy. This is the most viewers Siamo has had in a stream you've been in. I think maybe I made it to 14. Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else. You did some outreach? Well, thank you. All right. Yes, this is a more D&D oriented stream. Our other streams have been Pokémons. So it makes sense that some other people might find this one a bit interesting. I think it's funny. Cockatrice does not have sufficient intelligence to be considered. Baller design, though. Love this guy. Coatool. Coatl. Not Coatool. It's Coatl. I love this creature. Yes, 7 viewers is a lot for me. Okay, Coatl. Definitely has the intelligence. We are good. They are gorgeous. I love them. Coatls are benevolent serpentine beings of great intellect and insight. Their brightly colored wings and gentle manners speak to their celestial origins. Divine caretakers. Coatls were created as guardians and caretakers by a benevolent god not worshipped since the dawn of time, and which is forgotten now by all but the Coatls themselves. Most of the divine mandates given to these beings are long since failed. However, a number of Coatls still watch over ancient power, await fulfillment of prophecy, or safeguard the heirs of creatures they once guided and protected. Regardless of a Coatl's task, it prefers to remain hidden, revealing itself only as a last resort. Truth tellers. A Coatl can't lie, but it can withhold information, answer questions vaguely, or allow others to jump to the wrong conclusions if doing so is necessary to protect something, to keep promises, or to hide the secret of its existence. Ancient and few. A Coatl can live for ages without sustenance, even surviving without air, but these creatures can die of disease or the passage of time. A Coatl can sense its end up to a century beforehand, but it has no insight into the manner of its demise. If a Coatl has already accomplished what it has set out to do, it accepts its fate. However, if its imminent death endangers the completion of its goals, it actively seeks out another Coatl with which to produce offspring. The mating ritual of Coatls is a beautiful and elaborate dance of magic and light, which results in the gem-like egg from which a new Coatl hatches. The parent that sought out the mate raises the newborn Coatl and instructs it as to its duties, so that it can complete whatever task the parent leaves unfinished. That's cool that they can sense when they're gonna die, and they're so their numbers remain somewhat constant. This thing is only a challenge rating of 4? Pink. Breaks it. Pink. They dwindle if they don't have tasks left. That's true. Because they accept their demise. I think Coatl are wife material. We got 3 potential wife candidates. Crawling Claw? It has the sentience required. Why is the hand smart? It's just a hand. It has no brain. The thing is rotten. It's like a zombies thing. Almost had your first character die to one of these. Yeah. Okay, this is actually really funny. You guys know the rule. We're gonna read the description. Ooh. Wife. Crawling claws are the severed hand of murderers, animated by dark magic so they can go on killing. Wizards and warlocks of a dark bent use crawling hands as extra hands for their labors. It's a moidero. Oh. Magical origins. Through dark necromantic rituals, the life force of a murderer is bound to its severed hand, haunting and animating it. If a dead murderer's spirit already manifests as another undead creature, if the murderer is raised from death, or if the spirit has long passed on to another plane, the ritual fails. The ritual invoked to create a crawling claw works best with a hand recently severed from a murderer. To this end, ritualists and their servants frequent public executions to gain possession of suitable hands, make bargains with assassins and torturers. Creator's control. A crawling claw can't be turned. Interesting. Nor can it be controlled by spells that control undead. These foul monsters are entirely bound to the will of their creator, which can concentrate on a claw and fight to mentally command its every action. If the crawling claw's creator doesn't command it, the claw follows its last command to the best of its ability. Commands given to a crawling claw must be simple. A claw can't be tasked with finding and killing a particular person, because its limited senses and intelligence prevent it from tracking and picking out specific individuals. However, a command to kill all creatures in a particular locale works. A crawling claw can easily fill out the contours of keys and doorknobs, crawling from room to room in a blind killing spree. A crawling claw possesses little of the intellect and memories of the individual which it was once a living part. The hate, the jealousy, or greed that drove that person to murder lingers on, however, amplified by the claw's torturous, fragmented state. Left to its own devices, a crawling claw imitates and recreates the same murderous act it committed in life. This thing is so fun. Living claws. If a crawling claw is animated from the severed hand of a still living murderer, the ritual binds the claw to the murderer's soul. The disembodied hand can then return to its former limb, its undead flesh knitting to the living arm from which it was severed. Made whole again, the murderer acts as though the hand had never been severed and the ritual had never taken place. When the crawling claw separates again, the living body falls into a coma. Destroying the crawling claw while it is away from the body kills the murderer. However, killing the murderer has no effect on the crawling claw. Yeah, this is a ha-ha no. It just cracks me up that under the intelligence parameters, don't date a guy's literal severed hand. Yeah. It's haha no. Yeah, the last part would be a fun plot point. It's a kind name. Alright. I think that's pretty good progress for today. We're gonna start off with Cyclops next time. Maybe you have to save the executioner who's fallen into a coma and exercise his hand. Oh, thank you for the follow, Noah Tibor. Okay, and the unfortunate thing about this website is that I can't create like an account to save this progress. So we are just going to... Oh, come on. Copy. Oh, do I have to save it as a PDF? Yeah, weird snipping tool. There we go. I'll put this in... Oh, where should I even put it? That way I can find it again later. There we go. Okay, I plopped it in the Discord. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the stream. It was a really fun one. And we'll probably do a couple more sessions of it before we hop back to doing the Pokemess. Because it's going to take us a while to get through the whole monster manual. We'll see how far we get. But it should be fun. Let's go ahead. Boop. Whoop. Boop. Back where I go. Okay. Thank you all so much for having me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day because you all deserve it very much. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye.